Do you enjoy Green Lantern? Do you enjoy wrestling? Well, today, we combine the two in DCKO Green Lantern Galactic Slam. The tournament to become the new King Omega continues. But meanwhile, back on Earth, heroes continue to fight to protect the planet from a horde of parademons that have begun to invade. Whose idea was it to come down to this trash heap of a planet anyway? Odyssey demands as she swings her sword and cleaves a demon in half. Less whining, more fighting! We got this! Connor shouts as he punches another demon into the ground. Suddenly, more boom tubes begin to open, flooding the battlefield with more parademons. Kyle Raynor leaps forward. I got this! Cover your eyes! Things are about to get brightest day in here, Kyle shouts to his friends. He slams his fists together, and his green aura begins to shift, taking on the blinding white light of life. Kyle is now transformed from a Green Lantern into a White Lantern. Duck and cover! Kyle shouts as he lashes out with his powers, frying the army of parademons around them. The demons fall from the sky and Kyle finally collapses, landing hard next to his friends. Kyle, you okay? Odyssey asks. Kyle nods as he falls to his knees. His powers are gone and he is back in his civilian form. Yeah, just feeling a bit woozy. It'll pass once I recharge, Kyle starts to say. But a parademon suddenly rushes from the rubble, slamming into Kyle and knocking him into an open boom tube. Kyle! Connor shouts, but his friend is already gone. Kyle tumbles to a stop and struggles back to his feet. Please tell me I didn't just get knocked into a boom tube, Kyle whispers as he looks around, but his eyes widen in shock at where he finds himself. Things are heating up, Wham Fams! An announcer booms as Kyle watches two multiversal wrestlers slam into one another in a circus arena. Here we are in the final bout on Funaheim 12, and Noxious Ned is really making a play for the Wham belt. It's gonna take more than dropping a Tellurian Trawler and Omega Bandman to stop him from retaining his title, though, the announcer shouts. Kyle watches as Noxious Ned grabs Omega Bandman and tosses him across the arena, slamming into Kyle and knocking them into the refreshment stand. It's over, Galaxian! Mr. Scuzz says it's my time to shine! Ned shouts angrily. Omega shakes off the attack and glances at Kyle. You okay, bro? Omega asks as he gets off Kyle. I can't breathe. Also, I think I'm hallucinating, Kyle gasps. But Omega shakes his head and holds out a hand for the young man. I get that a lot. It's not every day you meet the multiversal champ. I recommend slow breaths, Omega tells him before turning back to the match. Ned rushes him, but Omega meets the attack and both men grapple. Let's go, old man, Ned snarls, but Omega sneers at him. Hold, buddy. I'm in my prime, he snaps before twisting his hold and tossing Ned through the air and into a nearby Ferris wheel. Omega Bandman with a fan lean throw right into the war wheel, the announcers shout. The arena begins to rumble and the war wheel tumbles to the ground. Kyle stares in shock. Omega something or other, man? You need some help? Kyle asks quietly, but the smoke and debris clear away to reveal Omega as the champion. Truly the best fighter in the multiverse, the announcers blare. And that is the end to another incredible Wham match. We hope the people of Funaheim enjoyed what will be their last moments on this planet before the inevitable meltdown from the nuclear plant that powers these amazing rides. Until next time, this is Mean Bean Woodman. We'll see you somewhere in the multiverse on Wham! The announcer says before the voice disappears. Kyle looks around in shock as Omega walks towards him, carrying the unconscious Ned on his shoulder. Wait, did that strange omniscient narrator say nuclear meltdown? Kyle asks. Omega nods his head. Yeah, bro, which means we gotta fly, he explains. Kyle shakes his head, saying that they need to help the people of this planet. That's not the way things work, bro Padre. I wish it was, Omega says before the trio is suddenly beamed away, even as Kyle continues to argue. Kyle looks around in shock to find himself on some sort of space station. Around them, other multiversal wrestlers are training, throwing each other to the ground and grappling. Where the heck am I? Kyle gasps. Omega shrugs as he grabs a towel and starts to walk through the vast chamber. Well, bro, it's called the Hub, but you could start calling it home, he suggests. Kyle follows after Omega, and they are joined by a giant talking praying mantis.
Amazing show, Omega Man. Not sure how you managed all the fights today, but you did it. Though, the intergalactic numbers are still down, I'm afraid, Slively informs them.
Can't break through whatever is keeping us out of the multiverse, eh, Slively? Omega asks. Slively shakes his head.
Afraid not,
he mutters. The trio walks through the corridors, with Kyle marveling at how large the hub is. That parademon must have hit me harder than I thought, he mutters.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Slively asks, glancing at Kyle for the first time. A Terran stray. You know I have a soft spot for him, seeing as my tag team partner is from there, Omega explains. Slively looks at the champ.
Oh, Omega. You know that means he has to fight in the next show,
Slively points out. But Omega just nods. Suddenly, they are approached by a large, four-armed alien in a suit. Omega Bam Man, looks like you eked out another win, Mr. Scuzz sneers. But Omega steps up to his rival. Enjoy it while it lasts. Someday, the drive is going to put us together, and I'm gonna take that belt off your corpse. Just like I took it off your mentors. Scuzz continues. He turns and walks away. I can't wait, Omega snaps. Slively turns to leave, reminding Omega to be careful around Scuzz.
Word is, he's trying to make an alliance to finish you off. In the ring, or out of it, Slively tells him.
Alone, Kyle has finally had enough. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is awesome. I'd love to stick around and watch superpowered wrestlers in a giant spaceship training facility, but I need to get home. Earth is in trouble, so I need to find the nearest Green Lantern and, he starts to say. But Omega wraps his hand around his mouth and glances around. Whoa! No saying the GL word around these parts, okay? He hisses, explaining that the Corps' been trying to shut down Wham since the 36th century. Hide that little ring of yours before anyone sees it, he suggests, questioning why Kyle hasn't transformed into a Green Lantern since they arrived. I can't. I have to recharge, and then I can get out of here. In fact, where are we, galactically speaking? Kyle asks. Omega shrugs, explaining that the hub is everywhere and nowhere all at once. You can't really leave while the hub is in transit. Come on! You're not the only one who needs to recharge. It's time to get a tub of grub, Omega suggests, and leads Kyle to the hub's restaurant. There, Omega tucks into a giant pile of alien food and explains to Kyle how he became the champion of Wham. I was a bro of humble origins. Omega cheers as he takes a long swig of beer. And thus began the epic origin story of Omega Bam Man. Thousands of years earlier, young Omega watched Wham's Royal Krypton crumble, marveling at Bro-Mega versus Kid Kia. Omega grew up on a world called Galaxia, where the men have a toxic gene that when activated makes them very dangerous. So all men were regulated to non-physical activities during the Great Submission. But Omega wanted to become as strong as his hero, Bro-Mega. So he began to sneak out and train, making his body stronger. But he had to keep his training a secret. But one day, his city was attacked by a Trino, one of the most dangerous animals on Galaxia. Omega put his training to the test and bested the beast with one blow. But then, he was cast out from his society. Luckily, Wham had arrived on his planet, Omega rushed to see the match and watched as Bromega defeated Chancellor Dynamite with the Bromega facelift. Omega fell to his knees and begged Bromega to take him along into the Wham.
If you come with me, you have to fight, bro.
Bromega had explained. But Omega didn't care. This was his dream. And so, he became Bromega's partner, training and fighting, learning the essentials of wrestling. The two became a powerful tag team duo. But during the smash on Kashtari 5, they were up against a new wrestler named Mr. Scuzz. Scuzz defeated Bromega and killed him, taking the championship belt.
Take my glasses, and Bam Man, keep training hard,
Bromega had gasped before he passed away.
Bro!
Bam Man screamed in sadness, but he did what Bromega asked and kept training, becoming stronger. Eventually, he faced Scuzz. They fought for 6 days and 6 nights. But finally, Omega was victorious and reclaimed the belt. Kyle stares at his friend. That is wild, and man, what a story. But, how exactly does that get me back to Earth? Kyle asks. Omega nods as he bites into another chunk of alien meat.
That's what I'm saying. You can't. But what you can do is join the ranks of Wham. Fight alongside me. Put on a show for all those people that face certain doom. Either that or figure out a way to convince the drive to send you back to your time and place of origin. And that's only happening if you were facing an apocalyptic event beyond comprehension.
Omega tells him as he stabs his fork into another hunk of food. We are! It's happening right now! Or whenever now was when I left. So why aren't we headed there? Kyle asks. Omega shrugs and shovels in more food.
No idea. No good with computers or electro things, he admits.
Kyle sighs and asks if Omega can take him to the algorithmic drive so that he can figure out some way to get back to his time.
Sure, but not dressed like that,
Omega tells him. Shortly, they arrive at the vast doors that hide the algorithmic drive that controls the hub.
Maybe I can muscle it open,
Omega says as he steps to the door and tries to pry it apart. He puts all his power behind it, but nothing happens.
It won't budge, even for me. I didn't think that was possible. Maybe that magic ring can do something,
Omega suggests as he steps back. He turns and looks at Kyle. I look so stupid, Kyle whispers as he steps out of the shadows. But Omega shakes his head as he admires Kyle's bare-chested wrestling attire.
I think you look great. The cape really makes the outfit,
Omega tells him. Kyle glances down at his cape. You think so? I mean, I've always kind of wanted one. Batman said it was impractical with the ring, he says quietly. Omega shakes his head.
I don't know who this bat person is, but he sounds like a naysayer, and I don't like naysayers, he scoffs.
Kyle smiles and steps up to the door, using his ring to create a set of lockpicks, and points it at the door's security box. Suddenly, the doors slide open to reveal the great algorithmic drive. Energy converges into a ball in the center of the room, and a face stares out at them. Oh, hey! How's it going? I'm Daryl, and I'm pretty sure you aren't supposed to be in here, the face tells them. Kyle stares at it in shock. Okay, sure. A floating head. Why not? He whispers to himself. Hi, Daryl. I assume you're the algorithmic drive? Kyle asks. Daryl shakes his head. Algorithmic drive? Oh, haha! I can see the confusion, me being here and all. No, I'm just a computerized intelligence used to manipulate the drive, setting up matches and telling it where it should and shouldn't go. If it was up to the drive, we'd be going to that little blue ball of strange all the time. But I was specifically told not to let the drive take us there. At least until the Dark Lord returns and plunges the universe into oblivion, Daryl tells them.
Dark Lord? That sounds bad,
Omega Bam Man mutters. Kyle nods in agreement. Yeah, it is. Daryl, who put you in here? Kyle asks. Suddenly, a blast of energy slams into the center of the room, knocking Kyle and Omega to the ground. What? Impossible! You're dead! Omega Bandman says as he struggles to his feet and stares in shock at the man who snuck up on them. Bro-Mega! Did you really think I would die so easily, Omega Bandman? Bro-Mega asks as he shakes his head and sneers. Flanked by Mr. Scuzz and Knockout, Bro-Mega explains that he faked his death in service to Darkseid, who is returning to plunge the multiverse into darkness. So you're the reason no one can get a distress signal out of Earth? You're jamming the signal with WAM programming? Kyle demands. Bro-Mega nods, explaining that he put Daryl into place so that he could make sure that the universe is watching WAM matches on worlds that are about to be destroyed, so that no one pays attention to Earth. Kyle glances at Omega Bandman. I have an idea. If we can take out Daryl, the ship might send us to the one place it's been trying to get to this entire time, Kyle whispers. Omega nods and readies for battle. You take out the floating head, Teeny Greeny. I'll handle these three, he says with a nod. Let's rumble! He bellows as he rushes forward and slams into his old mentor. Bro-Mega grabs him in a headlock as Knockout and Scuzz close in, but no one is paying attention to Kyle. Kyle holds out his hand and a green baseball bat construct appears. Oh, hello friend. You seem to be emanating ill intent, Daryl points out. Yeah, sorry Daryl. No hard feelings, Kyle tells him as he takes a big swing, destroying the computer intelligence. Suddenly, the hub lurches sideways and begins to broadcast. The universe as a whole suddenly gets wind of the next great WAM match, now broadcasting live from Earth. On the surface of Earth, the armies of Apocalypse look around in confusion as the ever-present announcers begin to blare. Let's get started! It's time for the Galaxian who is stronger than 100 men, the hero known as Omega Bandman, the greatest wrestler in the known universe, and his partner for this match, Lamino Greeno. The announcers shout as Omega and Kyle are teleported to the surface. Across from them, another teleportation beam slams into the ground, and Bro-Mega, Scuzz, and Knockout all appear. And now, their opponents, back from the dead and ready to butt heads, it's Bro-Mega, Mr. Scuzz, and Knockout, the announcers shout. Omega launches forward, Kyle at his side, now transformed once more into Green Lantern. Mr. Scuzz tries to grab hold of Omega, but the champion twists around and kicks him away. Kyle moves in to grab Knockout in green chain constructs, but the powerful warrior easily breaks free. Nearby, Bro-Mega grabs Omega in a hold, but Omega twists out and gives him a Paltian nail drive into the concrete, while Kyle creates a green construct chair and hits Knockout from behind, dropping her to the ground. Those Earthers call that a chair! He just hit Knockout with a chair! The announcers bellow. Knockout is down, and the Green Lantern is victorious. Now, let's head back to the action on the other side of the field, the announcers say. Cut back to Bro-Mega, who has staggered to his feet and is searching for his former protege. He suddenly looks up as a spot in the sky gets closer and closer. Is that? It can't be! How did Omega Bandman get a league into the air? He's coming in hot with a cosmic elbow! The announcers bellow. The elbow lands with a massive explosion, and Bro-Mega is defeated. It doesn't matter. Darkseid will win. You are all alone. Bro-Mega coughs as Kyle and Omega stand over him. But the former champ is wrong. Contact with Earth has been restored, and the Green Lantern Corps has arrived.
It's over, Bromega. You're done.
Omega tells him. But Bromega smiles as he gets to his feet.
It's not done. You played yourself. This is a sanctioned match, which you fought with the help of a Green Lantern.
Bromega snarls, reminding Omega that Green Lanterns are forbidden to fight in Wham matches. The announcers agree and point out that since Omega willingly worked with a Green Lantern, he must forfeit his championship belt and be exiled from Wham. Bromega and the other wrestlers suddenly disappear in a burst of energy, and Omega is left alone on Earth. I'm sorry, Omega, Kyle says as he turns to his friend, but Omega shrugs and smiles.
I've been at the bottom before, Green Lantern. I'll get back to the top. But right now, it looks like your planet could use my help.
Omega says as he motions to the major battle being fought around them. Yeah, it does look pretty hard out there, Kyle agrees. Omega looks at him with a smile.
You know what they say when life gets hard?
He asks as the two of them leap into battle.
We get harder.
And that was the complete story for Green Lantern Galactic Slam by Jeremy Adams. Quite a fun side story for the DCKO tournament, but let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And like and subscribe to help out the channel. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.